I would like to begin my speech by just saying how incredibly honored I am that my class wanted to hear what I have to say about our nursing journey. So now that I'm here and you're here and we're all here, I want to speak about things that matter. I want my speech to ignite something in you and to remind you of the drive and passion you felt for the profession of nursing, like when you first received your acceptance letter into CSM's Distinguished Nursing Program 2 very long years ago. Just think of me as your tour guide as we start at the beginning of our nursing journey. That being said, please keep your head, arms, legs, and feet inside the vehicle at all times, and definitely do not stand up while the ride is in motion. Thank you. When faced with a new experience, the advice my father once gave me was that you learn as you go. I believe this profound, albeit simple advice could not be more appropriate to summarize the past 2 years. Our first clinical orientation day. Most of us didn't know anyone else or that there were unofficial assigned seats, but little did we know that we would grow with these people and that each and every person we encountered would make us better people, better nurses. I remember leaving CSM that day and being so excited to go to the bookstore to pick up my 15-pound set of books. Memories. Something else of significance was purchasing your very own stethoscope. You spent hours researching the perfect color and how that would translate to what you wanted to say to others. The one I chose was fuchsia, and I think it said quite a bit. It has the wise words of MC Hammer laser engraved on it, "You can't touch this," which served as a reminder to those crappy doctors that borrow your stethoscope I read so much about. Then first semester began. I remember we all weren't so sure about the whole critical thinking thing. I also remember being extremely excited when I heard that all of the answers to the questions on the exams in nursing school were going to be correct. Except then I later learned that meant you had to choose the one that was the most correct. Nonetheless, the most important thing I believe we learned our first semester was that we were truly capable of doing this, of being nurses. We pushed through assignments, exams, lab checkoffs, and clinical rotations. We learned the basics and the core principles of nursing. We learned how to take vital signs, sometimes our own, when we were sure that we were tachycardic after having learned about being tachycardic. Also with first semester came care plans and nursing diagnoses. We learned as we went that a nursing diagnosis was most definitely a diagnosis we had never heard of before, and that our favorite nursing diagnosis for ourselves was stress related to rigor of academic coursework, as evidenced by fatigue and excessive consumption of Red Bull and Starbucks. Amidst all of this, there was a strange feeling that we were a part of something that was much bigger than we had ever imagined. We became acquainted with both courage and perseverance. Speaking of such, during our first semester, we met our best friend, Liz Benson, who inspired us to be courageous in the face of hardship. She taught us to think like a nurse. She taught us that there is nice to know and need to know. She was our mentor, our cheerleader, and most importantly, one of the many unsung heroines of our nursing program. Her words and advice carried many of us through the program, and we simply cannot thank her enough. And then there was second semester. Second semester, we began learning more in-depth skills, such as how to do and where to put a Foley catheter, how to start IVs, and how to complete various sterile procedures. We practiced countless hours in the lab among our fellow classmates. We were introduced to the world of medical surgical nursing in the hospital setting. We had clients who would learn of our second semester status and were frequently asked, "Have you done this before?" To which we would reply, "Of course I've done this before, on a mannequin, in a sim lab. Now you just feel a little pinch." Then you made it to the esteemed status of a second-year nursing student. Third semester brought with it feelings of competence in the medical surgical arena and the introduction to specialty clinical rotations. These specialty clinical rotations included community nursing and behavioral and mental health nursing. We were privileged to be able to visit such establishments as hospice, high schools, health departments, and behavioral and mental health units. In third semester, some of us were also introduced to and developed an unhealthy obsession with Grey's Anatomy, thanks to Professor Parsons. Then the moment we had been waiting for, fourth semester. With fourth semester came a semester of lasts. We attended our last clinical orientation where we snatched up the coveted front row unofficial assigned seats reserved for the fourth semester students. It also was our last time being frantic over registering for classes in which we had always hoped the odds were ever in our favor. In addition, we were given a very great gift this semester, the gift that was transclinical. With this gift came the promise of no care plans, and what a wonderful gift that was. Furthermore, this semester we were introduced to two subjects that one or both of which made most of us terrified, and those two subjects were called PEDS and OB. Pediatric nursing was comprised of family-centered care and was like learning a new language. I recall thinking, how can these little people be so complicated? They say that if it excites you and scares you at the same time, that means you should probably do it. So we did. We took the class called Care of the Child-Bearing Family, also known as OB. Although we learned so much from our OB rotation, the one thing I think I will never forget is when Professor Rutledge very sneakily put in her slides these seemingly harmless pictures of the size of the developing embryo and fetus as compared with common objects. You know, like a poppy seed and a watermelon. Nearing the end of fourth semester, we had a few more milestones. We had our picture day for our photographs that will be immortalized on a nursing graduate composite in the halls of the HD building. We ordered our nursing pins, which we just received, and we would be able to enjoy if I would just hurry up and wrap up my speech. And we took our finals as nursing students, and now we're here and it truly feels surreal. You know that song, You're Gonna Miss This? I think you're gonna miss this. You're going to miss the carpool rides, the late night study group sessions, the group text messages, the white scrub pants. Okay, maybe not that last thing, but you're going to miss this. All of this, so take it in. Look around you because this is where it ends and begins again. We become recognized as nursing graduates, and then we'll move on to leave that title behind to earn those coveted letters. The letters that when apart do not mean that much, but when together they mean everything. They will mean you are a registered nurse, you are finally an RN. And I know you will be registered nurses very soon. And I also know that I'm so happy I was able to meet you, and know that all of your clients will not only be in the most capable hands, but in the most caring hands. There's one thing nursing school couldn't teach us. Nursing school could not teach us how to be compassionate with others in their most vulnerable times, because this behavior cannot be learned. You had that in you long before you sent away your petition, and I know you will have it in you long after you become registered nurses. It is my greatest hope that you keep it. Lastly, I would be remiss if I did not thank you, the audience, for being our biggest fans and our greatest supporters. It may take a strong person to be a nursing student, but I believe it takes an even stronger person to be a family member of a nursing student. Thank you for the last 2 years, and thank you to our nursing faculty, administrative support, and the College of Southern Maryland for helping us to learn as we went. Thank you.